I joined the Shared 3D team about 5 years ago as a computer engineer, not as a 3D designer. So until recently, I modeled basic things only when I needed to check how things work on Shade. So I was quite an amateur in designing things. The concept of Dongri-kun project was studied as a bedtime story for my wife. She asks me to tell stories when she can't sleep. Last year, I studied a new story featuring a boy who built his own rocket to make an adventure. He travels to Mars with his cat and a mouse. Then he finds a Martian, and they became friends with each other. Usually, my wife starts to snore in 5 minutes after I start telling, so she often asks me to recap the latest events in the story before continuing it. That helped me solidify my imagination and to add events to the story. I was also inspired by recent scientific findings about life on Mars and other related news. Dongri is acorn in English. I think in Japan, collecting acorn in the woods with family is one of my best childhood memories. I wanted to print something I can relate to, something I can wait patiently with excitement for a printer to finish its job. So I picked my old private story, so far I never shared with other people. I sketched characters and the props in the story to fix images in my head. Starting with Dongri-kun in spacesuit, I moved on to design spaceships and other vehicles. This story was supposed to be a fantasy, so I gave them animal shapes which look friendly to children. For example, a fish-shaped rocket, a lander vehicle with legs of locust, and a ladybug rover car. The idea is that a fish rocket would look confident flying in the space like a fish in the ocean. The insect vehicle explores curiously on Mars' surface as in wild jungles. I've set many gimmicks in my rocket. Some of them are only visible when you open it, because I know children want to break things and see what's inside. So this object is not only designed to be seen, but also to be played with. I wanted the people to continue imagining stories and create new models of their own from here. Creating ladybug body. Step 1. Create hemisphere from primitive. First, select Sphere Object tool from Toolbox. Make sure Surface type is selected. Then drag to create a sphere on the image window. Select Switch from a Tool Modify menu to change direction of lines in the object. Select the last closed line and delete it to create hemisphere. Make it oval by quick dragging on the scalar square on the manipulator. Select and copy-paste it. Then, click the copied one and scale down a bit by click dragging on the center square of size manipulator. Switch manipulator to universal type again. Then move the scaled shape to the appropriate position. Step 2. Combine two hemispheres into one polygon. Combining objects needs Boolean function. But before doing it, you want to duplicate the objects created so far for later use. Next, check objects from below in perspective view. The problem is that the bottom is hollow. It is called non-manifold shape. Boolean operation won't function well with it. So, you need to fix it into waterproof with the help of 3D printing assistant. Click 3D printing tab on workspace bar. Then move down to Batch Check and Itemized Correction page. The check result tells there are two non-polygon shapes. Click question button to the right of count column to convert them into polygons. Then check shapes again. This time, two border edges are detected. Click question button again and choose Fill Hole. Okay, problem solved. Now you can go back to split view, activate the bigger shape and choose Boolean operation from toolbox. Then select the smaller shape, which will enable the options for Boolean operation in tool parameters. Check operation type target union source and click Apply. Step 3. Cut inside of the body. To cut inside the body, you need a smaller hemisphere as a cut object. For that goal, we don't have to recreate the shape from scratch. Because Shade 3D left original shapes as invisible objects after Boolean operation, so you can use it again. Make one of hidden polygon meshes visible again. Let's use this one to create a cutter. Downscale it a bit by using size manipulator. Choose the combined shape, then invoke Boolean function again. Next, select cutter shape and choose Source Cut by Target option, then press Apply. You can tell in a space created inside the body in wireframe view. Step 4. Cut the top of the body. Create cube object large enough to cover the top part of the body using primitive tools. Any type of primitive will do. I created it as extruded closed line. Then move it to the right position. Let's do Boolean operation once again. Activate the last shape in Boolean result. Then select Cut Object. Click Source Cut by Target option and press Apply. Now you can see passenger space opened in the body in perspective view. Step 5. Creating doors. Let me quickly show you how to prepare doors. First, you need two cutters, small and large. One for creating doors, another for cutting door spaces in the body. In 3D printings, you always have to keep in mind margins for assembling. A door piece needed to be a little bit smaller than its room in the body. First, create pentagon pole for a door space cutter by sweeping a closed line. Second, copy it in a bit smaller size for a door creating cutter. Let's cut door space first. You know the drill now. After activating the source body shape, call Boolean function. Select a cutter which is a smaller pentagonal pole. Check option, target, insect, source and click Apply. This step gives you two objects in one polygon mesh. To separate them, select Polygon Mesh and choose Menu, Mesh Separate, shell separation. This will enable you to treat each object as a single polygon mesh object. Next is the body. Resurrect the body shape visible and cut it with larger pentagonal pole. Now, door rooms are opened on both sides of the body. Step 6. Finish. The hardest part is over. It's a piece of cake to add eyes and other details. You can add as many decorative objects as you want, like small spheres and so on. Creating ladybug wings. Step 1. Create wing crust. Do you remember we put original curved surface spheres aside? Curved surface can create scaled copy in better quality and flexibility than polygonized object. So make it visible again and make 2 copies. Edit them into larger hemispheres than the original, considering thickness of the wing using scale manipulator. Tip here is to shift the small sphere a bit lower than the larger one, so that will help cutting function work better. Run 3D PA to check shapes. After checking shapes in 3D PA, apply cut to a larger one by a smaller cutter to create a wing crust. Now you got the wing crust. Step 2. Cut wings from the crust. First, create 2 boxes as wing cutters. Any type of cube objects will be okay. Another tip is to shift one box slightly off the center to make the wing sides include a fitting margin, so that wings won't conflict with each other when they are closed. You can create the other side of the box using numerical transformation tool from Tool Copy Numerical menu. Check Grid Snap option to be precise and click Center Axis point from which object is mirror copied. A dialog box pops up for a numerical input. Enter -1 in the corresponding axis edit box, then press OK. Apply intersection cutting twice for left wing and right wing. Step 3. Finish. Trim wings to fit the body. First, make visible the old upper body part again. Then copy it in a bit larger scale. Check it in 3D Printing Assistant again. Apply cut operation twice, each for 2 wings. That's all the basic steps for creating Ladybug vehicle. Thank you.